Hey, hi guys. In last video, we actually saw what are the different best practices in coding, and today I will show you one example in which we will try to incorporate all those best practices. So let's get started. So I have this package best.practices. In that I have this class which is situated in practice.java, hence the class name is also practice, and we have this our own popular main method, and just inside this class now I will try to initialize or declare some variables, instance variables. Like what we are going to do is, it's a very simple program. It will just take a roll number, name, and 3 marks, like for maths, physics and chemistry. Okay, then we will just take the values from object and then just calculate the average of these 3 subjects. And in this example we will try to incorporate best practices. So in the first half we will write the program like whatever way we want, and then we will try to incorporate best practices. So let's get started. So usually roll number, roll number, okay, private string, student name, private integer, physics, okay, private integer, chemistry, private integer, maths. Okay, now that we have 5 different instance variables, I will quickly add the getters and setters. Okay, now we'll go to our main method and I'll try to create the first object. Creating first object of practice p1 equals to new practice. Okay, not using constructor, just only because we don't want to add much things along with these best practices, so we are just adding setter methods. Physics first, right, or roll number first, that would be very helpful. Understand what is going on. p1 dot set student name is Krishna. Okay, now physics dot set physics, right, set physics. Okay, so 82. p1 dot chemistry 75. Just an example, guys. Set, let me give 90 to mathematics. Okay, so now that we know what is the value for each and every variable for this particular p1 object, I will try to calculate total of 3 subjects, right? Total of marks of 3 subjects. So integer total equals to, so whatever I have been set, right? And if I want to get those values, so what we use p1 dot get physics, p1 dot get chemistry, p1 dot get maths, right? So this is how I can calculate total, and these are 3 subjects. So we know that if I want to calculate average, I need to just divide this total by 3, right? And then we will try to print average marks of, and then p1 dot get student name is R. Okay, so I can say average right here, right? Okay, cool. Let's try to run this. Oh, okay. Average marks of Krishna are 82. Cool, because addition of these 3 divided by 3 will be average, right? And now I want to do it for another student. So what I will do just second object, okay, maybe P2. Oops, P2, 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 and maybe we will reuse these variables for now because the scope of the variable is still there, and here also P2, right? And we'll change the value to John, roll number 2, 80, 65, 95, right? Yeah, average marks of Krishna are 82. Average marks of Krishna are John are 80. So it looks like it is working. So this is how I will try to add different objects to this code and then try to calculate the operation on the variables for that object, right? So this is just a class as an object, simple, classic. Okay. So now, so what was the first best practice? The first best practice is the naming conventions, right? So if you see, a roll number is not in camel case or not used in underscore format, right? Nothing. So to make it work, we should actually use small. First character should be small, and then the next word, which is number, it should be from the first letter capitals, right? So if you add it here, right? So basically what happens is this particular roll number variable is changed. So basically everything will change, right? So the way wherever it was used, that will change. So where is the getter and setter? Yeah, okay. Roll number, roll number. Okay. Anywhere else? No, right? Okay. So this is how we can change the variable names to camel case. Okay, student name. Uh, so now if you see, it is just private integer physics. So we don't know for which purpose this variable is used. So it is used for marks, right? So what I will do, physics marks. Okay, this is how I can say that it is used for marks. And yeah, cool. So now that we have changed the variable names, we need to uh, change the getters and setters, maybe. Yeah, so yeah, student name, student name variable we changed. Yeah, physics, right? Physics marks it is. So we'll keep getter and setter as it is for now, or else what we can do, instead of changing it every time, we can just delete the getter and setters because there are almost 10 getter and setters, and because we changed the names, we can just again implement the getters and setters. That would be helpful. So now if you see, get roll number, set roll number is fine, get student name is fine, get physics marks, get chemistry marks, get maths marks is going to change here, right? Say physics marks, right? This is gonna change. Okay, while changing is maths marks. Okay, now the same with physics marks, chemistry marks, maths marks. Okay, and the same goes with this. This is how so I would have already written the correct names, but I just wanted to show you how we can, change the refactor the things. If you are using idea IntelliJ or some other tools, the IDEs, you may see refactoring shortcuts, but if you are the you know newcomer to this programming world, you can do it manually. Okay, so we changed it. So first of all, we just changed the names to camel case, right? Another thing was writing proper comments. So we should not use like creating first object of practice, creating second object of practice. Yeah, we know that we are creating objects of practice class, but this is not the way we write comments, right? So comment should be a proper English language comment, not the description of actual programming that is being taken care in the next line. No, right? So what we can say is it is basically a student object, not practice object, literally saying. Uh, so we can say that mm, setting first student, right? Setting first student profile, we can say, because it's just a profile that we have in the register of schools, for example, right? So it's just a profile having roll number, name, and marks, right? This is second students, right? Here we can say we cannot say saying that calculating total and average. We can say calculating results of the student marks. So it's just a result, right? Yeah, again for the in this example we don't have much scope to have add comments, but if you see these are the hints that you should not use as it is from the programming language. You should use something to describe it properly in English language. Yeah, the next point is like indentation. So if you see, we are already indented because we are using this Eclipse IDE. So already if I enter from here, so it allows me to write it here, right? But if I don't write from here, so for example integer I, right? So it allows me, but in Python it doesn't allow. But even though it is allowing me, I should not write it, because this way it is very readable, right? So if you see, it's properly indented, so this is good. Okay, next is very important, dry principle, right? So what was dry principle? Do not repeat yourself. So do you see any repetition here? So this can't be the repetition, right? This is actually a instantiating two different objects, so this is not a repetition. But the operation which is happening just below that is a repetition. So these two lines is a repetition, because again we are writing it for another student. So instead of writing it twice, we can have a separate what we say method, and that method will calculate the average and return the value. So for example, let's have a public method, public double, I can say, because it is returning calculate. So here if you see, I'm using camel case, calculate average, okay, and maths. So I will have a shortcut name, but it should be very meaningful. Maths marks. We'll have a sequence maintained physics, chemistry, maths, like physics, maths, chemistry, marks, and integer math marks, right? And finally, we are going to return result, right? Something like that. Okay, and now in between this we can add these two lines, right? So for example, like take this. Okay, where is that? Okay, so if you see, there is one integer variable, and this result is the final result, we can say. And I will remove the not necessary lines. And if you see, we don't want this, right? We want physics marks to be here. It's a variable argument, function argument, and maths marks, right? Okay, cool. Double result is declared twice, so we don't need. Okay, so if you see this particular function, calculate 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 average method will be used whenever the calculation of average needs to be taken care. So what I will do, I will remove this part and call this, right, and pass p1 dot physics chemistry maths, right, get physics, p1 dot get chemistry, p1 dot get marks. Okay, so calculate. Oh yeah, we need to make it static because we are in the static class, a static method, uh, and this static method is accessing uh, this method, so we need to make it static. Okay. So in a similar fashion, uh, we can actually convert it, okay, but only for the P2 marks, P2 objects marks. Cool. So this looks good. Let's see. Yeah, correct. So it's giving the same result, so it's working. So we just removed the calculation operations part, which was twice. So we kept it inside a function, and then we just called that function. So it is good. It's a good practice. So it's a very small example, so you do not get the importance of it. But imagine it's 1,000 lines of code, and it's very hard to find wherever the repetition is. And then if we want to make some change in this operation, we may need to make it twice, right, or multiple times, so which is very hard. So last point is about having the limited line length. So suppose I want to declare a variable conclusion, for example, and this has some characters, okay, some sentence we can say. It's just a string and it has some characters written. So if you see, we are scrolling to right, and if I'm ending right after it, but if I want to read it, I will not read it in a one go, right? If I have not written this code and someone else written it, so I don't know why and how and what is the context of this line. But still, if I use the line limit and just go to any point in that particular line and enter, it will just end that line, add this plus symbol, and continue on the next line, right? So this way it is very organized, and we can say that this particular paragraph is this particular line which is stored in this conclusion, and this doesn't affect the final print or final usage. It's just a representation. Okay, so if I run this, if you see it is whole coming in a one line only, it's just a representation so that anyone can understand. So these are the best practices which we incorporated in a simple example today in Java programming language. If you follow all these best practices and follow the syntax in the respective programming languages, you can incorporate these best practices in any programming language and in any sort of real world example that you are implementing. So thank you for watching this video. Cheers.